Welcome back, everyone, to another Hearts of Iron 4 mod spotlight, and this time we're going to be looking at Total War, which is a bit like Black Ice, except more manageable. It's Black Ice reasonable, you could say. Not quite Black Ice light. Now, difficulty modifiers still very much there, as you can see. Are these any different? No, these are the same. So you can make the game still very, very difficult for you. And let's just jump in and see how everything is looking. And as you can see, like, the United States of America over there still has that horrible green color. I'm not sure why they love that so much. I really prefer the United States without that, but it's okay. And yeah, obviously, you know, there's not going to be that many changes to the map from what you can see right now. I wish that would load in, but yeah, not that many changes to the map, not that many adjustments, but, you know, once we get in, we can actually take a look at the other things. Okay, so first thing that we get hit by is speeches. Now, from what I gather, these are public speaking, and yeah, there's a lot of things that Germany likes to do here. Essentially, like, you know, you can enable what the AI triggers for a speech, and then, like, wait, what? Need to wait for it to update, obviously. Like, for example, actually this music is very loud. Oh, I can see why. Alright. So if we click the speech, denounce the free market economy, it should be playing, as you can see, or as you can hear. Should be playing a speech, although obviously I need to increase the game volume that is required for that. Maybe it's effects. Yeah, it's effects. So you can just hear that, like, Hitler was going on there, and so that's essentially what happens. Then you get these events, which I believe also exist in Black Ice. Essentially, you can, like, rush your focuses. As you can see here, for example, if I were to pick the Luftwaffe, German Reich unlocks Luftwaffe air focus, which is this one. Except if you look at the bonuses, you can see that it is decreased. So yeah, it's basically what used to be in Black Ice. I think it's still there somewhere. Anyway, this is the focus tree for Germany. It's actually very flavor rich, as you can kind of gather. Like, a lot of these are very unique things. It's not generically just, like, you know, increase the efficiency of the industry or something. No, it's actually talking about, like, you know, actual really existing organizations and specific Germany things. So, you know, Fallschirmjäger, and not just, you know, get new paratroopers or expand the Fallschirmjägers with a standard icon. It's like, yeah, Fallschirmjägers, and it gives you an event, and it gives you a spirit, you know, and it gives you the military advisor, because Kurzstudent, where the hell is he? Yeah, we cannot have him right now, but if we complete the focus Fallschirmjäger, it gives it to us. So focus tree expanded. If we look at the balancing, I mean, obviously Germany, it's supposed to be very, very strong and overpowered, but yeah, these focuses for Germany are very, very good, to say the least. So they're kind of all over the place. And actually, one thing that it also does do is that it gives quite a lot of research bonuses for single doctrines, which is, for only 42 days, it's really, really strong, because, like, it even gives you technologies. Like, if you go down this, you get division templates, you get, you know, technologies, and then you take a research bonus for Kampfgruppen. And after that, you get a research bonus for either the three last ones for mobile warfare, or the other... Actually, hold on. Land doctrines. Oh, one thing that makes this a bit better than Black Ice is that you can actually see land doctrines. Anyway, you can get some of this, which is actually reworked, as you can see. It's not like the desperate defense anymore. And they move that over to just just Germany stuff. Because it didn't really make any sense that the desperate defense stuff was there for countries that weren't Germany, because it's supposed to represent what Germany was doing at the end of the war. So, I mean, I kind of understand why they did that. It's okay. And, you know, you get the werewolves or whatever. So that's if you're not doing too well, to say the least. And you can take those focuses. And then you have, you know, your standard, like, you know, take over Europe stuff. There's some really overpowered naval focuses over here. Plan Z, obviously. Prepare the Kriegsmarine for war. You know, you get a lot of free dockyards. And then going down to the left-hand side, there is just some pretty standard air focuses and, yeah, you know, economy stuff. And everyone has gotten a bit of a, you could say, overhaul. Don't exactly know if all of them did, but definitely you can see France. They have, I don't remember exactly which focus tree mod this is, but they incorporated some focus tree mod where you can have either radicalizing the Popular Front going at the far right, trying to restore the French kingdom, or just, you know, playing around with democratic politics. The UK, are you different? Yes, you kind of are. Looks like you have to deal with Edward. But most of everything else is pretty much the same. A bit reorganized there. America, fuck yeah. We're coming in to save the motherfucking day, yeah. Looks pretty good. Support the president. Yeah, looks pretty okay. There's a lot of ways, of course, to help out your allies around the globe. And Canada, do you have the normal one? Yeah, you have the normal one. Okay. What was that? Soviets. This is actually changed as well, which is great, actually. The Great Purge is its own little thing on the right, and I mean, it didn't really change it. It's the same. You can support Spain, which has the wrong flag. Capitalist diplomacy. It's not anti-capitalist diplomacy, it is capitalist diplomacy. And it's all about opening up routes for Lend-Lease, actually. So it's kind of, quote-unquote, forcing the USSR into historical. But, you know, that's just what it is. Stakhanovites. Tractor factories. So, looks like some very powerful economy bonuses. And some very good icon work, actually. Look at that. That looks so good. Like, what the hell? Like, you know, development of the Leningrad area, and it's just a, you know, train of socialism. Stalingrad area development with a portrait of Stalin. Retool tractor factories with the T-34. Do love that very much. And then Tankograd focus. Obviously, Chelyabinsk. Yeah, I do love the, like, it's not really that complicated. And T-34-76 model 1930 after May 1949. Oh, okay. I mean, these focus trees look pretty small, but honestly, like, I think the reason that they are this way is that they're supposed to be historically accurate. And oh my god, look at these icons! They're so beautiful! That's insane. I actually love these. Yeah, lure them in strategy. Look at that, dare to die core. Yeah, and then look at this, like, subtle, well, not really that subtle, but graphical difference between focus on Central Army with the KMT, white sun on blue, and then integrating warlord forces with the five races, you know, star thing, the Beiyang. Black Laboratory. Yeah, you can still do... okay, so this is... Yeah, they changed around the political stuff for Nationalist China. Ooh, and that's if you're sent back to Taiwan. There's even the possibility of the Yangtze partition. Okay, so there's some stuff for the Chinese Civil War in case that ever happens. And yeah, you can either essentially rejoin with Mao and be just Yeah, just be Red China. You can revive the New Life movement, and I mean, that's always kind of weird to me. Like, the New Life movement was kind of like a cultural, conservative kind of movement, but wasn't really, like, fascist. Like, Nationalist China was fascist enough on its own, and then you can either be a little Japanese puppet, introduce shipbuilding technology. Obviously, that's to deal with the national spirit that everyone likes to give China, the incompetent shipbuilding. Yeah, obviously. And yeah, so you can either go part of the blue shirts and be fascist China, or national military indoctrination and be more Japanese friendly. The tribute system claims, well, obviously, the Chinese ports. Okay, so we're gonna try to get back those treaty ports. Does Japan have anything different? Yeah. So it looks like at some point you're gonna get a decision for which expansion doctrine to adopt. So if we tag over to Japan, oh god, this does not look the best, but okay. Yeah, because he's and Northern Expansion Doctrine adopted, or Southern Expansion Doctrine adopted. Is it here? No, it isn't. Yeah, this is the Manchurian Project is pretty much the same. I don't know. Looks like at some point you're going to get an event or a decision to do that, and that is going to unlock either land bonuses or naval bonuses. And then obviously at the end you're gonna have I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be on this way, because the Northern Expansion Doctrine is all supposed to be about taking down those Soviets, but for some reason it's on the other side, so I think it's a little bugged out. Yeah, whatever, it's okay. What other majors do we have? Well, I mean, semi-major Australia. Nah, we're the same. South Africa, probably the same. Focus tree, yep, looks like it. Anyone else? India? Nah. Right, Mel. What about you? Okay, so you're this focus tree. Don't remember exactly where it is, but I've seen it many times. Man, still hasn't localized all of it. This is the one where you need to like found your nation or whatever, right? Yep, need to complete found our nation, which is there. So you need to take down the nationalists, and then you get access to a very, very big tree to build yourselves up. So we got the Soviets. We've got right. Italy has a different one that starts off locked in the Ethiopian war thing, and yeah, I think the AI is gonna take this one most of the time, because the first like little choice is either you have defeated Ethiopia, or you are still at war with Ethiopia, and you can take this one. If you have defeated them, you take this one. But I'm guessing that the AI is not gonna defeat Ethiopia in 56 days, so they're probably gonna take victory by any means most of the time. So they're not gonna get the land doctrine bonuses, nor the army XP bonuses, which is kind of unfortunate. And just look at those icons. So yeah, you get some good options to do what Italy was doing historically. Very, very nice. The these two, Mincul Pop and Istituto Luce, they look very, very cool. Libyan oil fields, and then there's all the diplomacy stuff. You know, it's a bit like normal Hearts of Iron 4. Either join the Axis or get the Novus Imperium Romanum, which is still they just kept the meme name there, and it's just like, yeah, sure. And then the over here, the Doctrinal Battle is kind of interesting, because in the end you get Avanti and 8 million bayonets, and you need to have at least 1 million manpower of divisions in the field to get improved Italian leadership. That's because at the start Italy gets a very bad modifier here. -25, -25, -5, -5. For some reason, fielding a lot of men, instead of making that worse, because you don't have, you know, the officers to staff all of your divisions and to control all of your men, it makes it better. Don't exactly understand. You gain some free templates all over. Yeah, they really like giving you free templates, which is kind of nice. You get generals on these sides. Yeah, free templates here too. This removes the Italian leadership if you have more than 65 army experience. Clever use of that. And yeah, just everything there. Mare Nostrum. That's if you hold Gibraltar, Malta, Cairo, Sinai, and Cyprus. Well, that's awesome. And yeah, learn from the Luftwaffe. That's only if you're in a faction with the Germans. Okay, so it looks like if you want to be strong on the air, you need to be friends with the Germans. Don't need to be friends with the Germans to get tanks, though, which is kind of nice. And wow, that's a lot of templates. Yeah, there's just templates. Okay, well, that's kind of interesting. Anyone else? Well, do you have, like, for example, you? Yeah, Turkey apparently has a mini focus tree of its own. Yeah, you can get Turkish nukes, obviously. Develop Turkish shipbuilding. That's pretty generic, but it is what it is. What about Greece? Nah, Greece just has full-on generic. So it looks like some of them did get, you know, genericified, but some of them aren't. There's still the situation is stable modifier, which I'm very weirded out by. There's still the radical factions in the IJA. But it's all kind of weird because you cannot actually, you know. Ah, okay, so apparently it... okay, I see. Last stand in Korea. So apparently the political challenges for Japan only end up affecting how you're going to deal with the Zaibatsu. But that's fine. Yeah, there's a lot of research, but we're going to get into it very soon. There's a few more. There's also this speeches stuff, but I don't think that the speeches stuff actually does anything like, you know, triggering actual historical speeches or anything like that. But that's kind of okay. Can demand Indochina, you know, there's all the regular decisions, and then you also have some new decisions, as you see with the speeches. And I think if we take a look at, like, for example, other countries like the Soviets, we're gonna see a few more of those. Oh damn. Nope, unfortunately, but that's okay. That is very okay. Taking a look at the research, essentially this is black ice with less problems. There's less types of equipment, although there's still the incredibly annoying uniforms. We're gonna see, though, the amount of equipment that you can produce when we get to the production screen. One thing to note is that, unfortunately, some of the graphical changes of black ice are done away with, and you know, so it doesn't look quite as crisp. Good thing is that some of the visual changes with black ice are instead canceled, and so at least, you know, little gold icon means it's not researched yet, and little green icon means that it is researched yet, and gray means that it's not researchable. With the support equipment, they decided to take a lot of icons from Company of Heroes, which I mean, I'm all fine with because I like Company of Heroes. So there's Signal Company, obviously logistics, field hospitals, maintenance, military police, engineers, and recon, and cavalry recon, which is, I mean, basically it's all the same. You can even do pontoon bridges, which is kind of nice. Yeah, look at that river. How very good. Yeah, so there's a few unique things. Artillery, there's still the light, medium, and heavy artillery, which kind of derps me. And there's also the heavy AA, but I guess if they want to roleplay with flak 88s, there's a lot more like middle of the line techs, you know, to improve your artillery, like they needed to be improved. Although, yeah, to be fair, they do need to be improved after they nerfed them, so that's pretty good. And then you have the rockets, which do not require regular artillery to be researched. You just need to research it, and look at that awesome shiny new icon for the motorized rocket Arty. Very, very impressive, and obviously there is the railway artillery. Railway artillery gun. It does not seem to like moving. Yeah, because that means that you're forced to strat redeploy it, which, you know, yeah. I really do not know if, like, because I think this would be a, look at the division designer, I think this would be a support, right? Yeah, railway artillery gun, and you cannot, I think, get it here? No, okay, so I see why. It's kind of interesting. If you want a siege division, as they call it, that's what you do. Okay, never mind. So that's that. There's obviously still the unique tank trees, but they're kind of simplified. They're kind of simplified, and what's more important also is that they're a little bit easier to understand. Like there's the amphibious tanks on one side, then light tanks, then it progresses to cavalry tanks if they're there, then medium tanks, then heavies, and then super heavies, and then armored cars, and then staff cars. The Lenin super heavy tank. Well, obviously, I'm pretty sure this is just invented. I do like how that exists. It's kind of like out of, oh, of course, comrade. Look at this awesome thing. Yeah, I do like how this is basically out of Command and Conquer. So if you want to be a Soviet like that, land doctrines. I mean, you can see World War II land doctrines, just superior. I love how triggered people got, because apparently you need to research all of them, and then you get a, like in the Black Ice one, I'm not going to talk about Black Ice, okay, whatever. Okay, so then there's free naval trees, there's submarines, there's naval, and there is naval doctrine, so that's that. And there is unique air forces. A little bit easier again to follow compared to actually the Soviet one. Soviet one seems to have incorporated both of those. So essentially, you have the aircraft that are they're more kind of grouped together into classes of aircraft rather than the producer of the aircraft. So what you have in Black Ice is that in the tech tree you see that a single producer of aircraft, you know, a company, is going to be, or designer, is going to be the criteria in which the planes are grouped in. So if I were to be here, it would be like this one. Like you see the MiG-1 interceptor and then the MiG-3 interceptor and then this one. Except the problem is, of course, sometimes different aircraft producers produce different types of aircraft. And sometimes Black Ice, just to quote-unquote make it more realistic, groups those together. Because maybe they're, you know, a similar chassis of aircraft, they just have different roles, but they put it so you have to research one to get the other. Instead of, you know, you have to research maybe another kind of, sorry, not another kind of, another aircraft of the same type. So, you know, maybe another tactical bomber to, you know, get the newer one, even if they're different producers. And I know it doesn't make any sense, but if you look at the Black Ice tree, you will see what I'm talking about, and it's just incredibly annoying to navigate and see, you know, where you need to get research to actually progress. Anyway, so here you have strategic bombers, naval bombers, medium bombers, CAS, or light, no, actually this is light bombers, which I'm pretty sure is just supposed to be, you know, medium bombers with some stats tweaked about, CAS, heavy fighters, interceptors, fighters, and multi-roles. So that's about it. Not sure about which is the difference between these two, but yeah, whatever. Enables Lavochki and Garbunov Gudkov. So the lag fighters, and then they merge together into one, which is always pretty good. For some reason it's called Jet Fighter 2, but then the description says it's the MiG-15, and the icon clearly shows that it's a MiG-15, so yeah, whatever. Air doctrines is the same, engineering mostly the same, you've seen this before a million times. And industry, you've seen this before a million times too. Unfortunately, the icons for the different factories are not quite as good. In fact, as a whole, the icons outside of the focus trees are just not as good, which is kind of sad. And yeah, the tech tree over here is the same. So we go on forward. The diplomacy, I don't think there's anything new. Nah. Trade, pretty much the same. Construction, obviously, there's different icons which look awesome, but they are not as readable. So it's kind of unfortunate. Although, I mean, these ones up here really look like very, 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 very good. So I enjoy that. It's just the different types of factories as a whole. They look, you know, a little bit similar to each other, but that's okay. I love how they repurposed that art piece for the rocket site. And naval dockyard. You know, one thing that I am kind of weirded on about is this one. What is that taken from? See, it says, your country has no light aircraft factories. Oh, they changed it so that you do not need to produce them, you just need to research these. I'm not too sure about this change. Because I liked how you needed to actually focus some of your production to that. At the same time, I see why they did this. Because it was really kind of confusing to be using the same resource, aka civilian factory, per day, CIC per day, and actually they increased the amount of civilian factories you can put into one project from 15 to 16, which is very weird. Still, as I was saying, essentially, yeah, they use the same resource for two different buildings that would end up having the same effect. So, like, if you're building more military factories, you can obviously put more military factories in the production of anything. But if you build more of the specific factories, like, you know, more tank factories, you would still be using the same resource, civilian factories, to increase the production of the same thing. Except, you know, it's two different things, so it's actually relatively confusing sometimes. But, you know, whatever. That's just how it is. And yeah, it seems like it's mostly the same. Then production. Yeah, taking a look at the production screen, you can still see that it's quite complicated, but it's not as bad as it was. Like, somehow. Like, you do not need to produce, like, sniper equipment and machine guns and mortars, you know, and infantry guns. You know, it's just, you still have staff cars, you still have the radios, you still have the different equipments for mountain, amphibious, all of that, paratroops. And then you have the uniforms, which I fucking hate, but yeah, then other than that, everything is very reasonable. And I mean, even like the cars, I see why they're there. The radio equipment, I see why they're there, because it should give me that, that modifier. Well, whatever. You can be annoying. Okay, I see what you're supposed to do. Okay. I see what you're supposed to do. Whatever. Doesn't make any sense. That the AI does not know how to use that. Still, apparently they turned off the radio thing. They're just required for HQs. Maybe. Yeah. I guess that's fine. The division designer looks pretty good. The problem is still, yeah, combat whiff. How is the combat whiff? Because one of the problems with Black Ice's system is the way combat whiff works. Seems like they kind of derped around with the combat whiff. Not sure exactly how it's supposed to work, but okay. So it seems like you're encouraged to try out things instead of sticking to how the combat whiff is looking. Yeah, why are you only using 21? I guess they switched, no, and then 18 here? I don't understand, man. This is just the used combat whiff. What about the max combat whiff? If I were to do this, 34, 67, Oh, looks like Germany did something with a speech. I don't know. Oh, 240. Wow. Looks like they just increased combat width as a whole. So this overall should result in less stalemates. And it also gives you a little bit more leeway in designing your divisions, which is, I guess, kind of okay. I see why they would do that. And, yeah, like, other than that, the amount of equipment types that exist still make it a little bit difficult to kind of navigate around, but it's doable. Like, of course, it's doable in Black Heist 2, but in here it's a little bit less cancerous. And, yeah, I wonder if the tanks work the same way. Like, for example, Italy. Do you have unique tanks? No, you don't. You just have these. Which is okay, Damn, there's some interesting icons there. If we check out Germany, who has a unique tank tree. Okay, thankfully at least, it's using light tank, heavy tank, and I'm guessing after you research it, medium tank. So no more, you know, different battalion type from Panzer II to Panzer III. Good, thank God. That does make it a lot better, actually. It may sound a little bit exaggerated, but actually it is. Like, it is very useful. Now, last thing I wanted to check is, does the United States, for example, have unique ships? No, actually, they seem to have abandoned unique ships altogether. Which is, I guess, pretty okay, because at least in this way you don't have German ships that are superior to the equivalent American ones. Yeah, okay, you. Just trying to see who has unique things. That's a very good tree for the Brits. Yeah, they have infantry tanks. That's nice. Pretty cool. Super heavy SPG. Tog 2. Oh, nice. I do love that. Wait, can you pair drop this? Because the Tetrarch was an airborne tank. You could, you know, fit it in a glider. So, you know, it would be great if you unlocked the Tetrarch. You know, if you unlock the Tetrarch, it would be great if you could, you know, use it with your airborne divisions. I feel like that would be great. For example, does Japan have any unique things of their own? And that's just the last thing I will be checking before signing off. No, you don't have that, but you do have the Imperial Japanese Air Force. I wonder if you have... Yeah, because it says Army Close Air Support. Wonder if you have different planes from the Army and the Navy. No, you don't seem to. Although you do have a whole separate branch of carrier fighters to kind of reflect Japan's approach to military procurement. And one last thing that I want to check is, does Germany get any Wonder Waffles? Because Wonder Waffles are never bad in these World War II games. They're memes. Don't really get... Oh, there's this one. Look at that shit. It's ridiculous. Is there like the America bomber or something? No, there's the tactical jet bombers. Oh, yes. Yes. What's the range on this thing? 5,200 kilometers. It's an ICBM, literally. Oh, lovely. Does the United States get anything remotely even as bullshit? I just love Wonder Waffles in these games. Where's the Strat Bombers? Okay, you also have those. Oh, wow. B-47 Stratojet. That kicks the America bomber's ass very, very heavily. That's pretty good. Anyway, I will be signing off right now. I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Oh, one thing that I guess it's not as good with Total War as opposed to Black Ice is that you cannot annex South America into Ecuador, but you know, you can make sure that they don't do anything as the United States by like embargoing them, you know. Shut up, Hitler. Anyway, I'll go. See you soon.